Hello Gut Squad and welcome back to my channel. This is Cecily as always. Today is going to be a video all about things that my ostomy nurse never told me. I want to preface this by making it clear that I've had a lot of ostomy nurses over the years that I've had my various ostomies, and they've all been really genuinely kind and helpful and understanding people. I've gotten close to all of them and they've helped me through some really tough times. However, I think as ostomates we can all say that you learn a lot from living as an ostomate rather than just reading about it or talking to people who have ostomies. So sometimes the best teacher is experience. And if your ostomy nurse never had an ostomy, none of my ostomy nurses ever had an ostomy, then it's understandable that they miss things and they don't have the answer to all of your burning questions. And that's okay. I think as patients, we all need to have some patience with our medical professionals and accept that they don't always have answers. And so in cases where our ostomy nurses or our colorectal surgeons don't have really good answers for things that we might really need help with, in my experience, it's best to reach out to people who are ostomates. And in the internet age, we can reach out to just about anyone. So I've gone on a lot of discussion forums, Facebook pages, Reddit forums, all different sorts of internet communities where ostomates can talk about their experiences, and you can find an answer to pretty much any question. So today, I'm just going to go over some of the burning questions I had as an ostomate when I first became one, and even a good deal into having an ostomy, that my ostomy nurse just really didn't have answers for, and maybe it can help you guys if you've had the same questions too. The first thing that I really wish my ostomy nurse had told me before I had to sort of find out how to fix this problem the hard way is what I have not so affectionately deemed splashback, which is when you have sort of thick stool and you're trying to empty your bag, and unfortunately some water like splashes back up at you all of a sudden, and it can be very gross because no one wants toilet water all over them. I discovered that if you put down a small amount of toilet paper in the toilet bowl before you actually empty, then that can help cushion, I guess, the stool, increase the water tension, I suppose, and make it so that there's not quite so much splashback, and the chances of that happening are like very slim. So I've gotten into the habit of doing this ever since about a year and a half ago or so, and it saved me a lot of trouble. It saved me a lot of stains, it saved me a lot of toilet cleaning, and it's just overall helped out a lot. So if you guys also have this splashback issue, let me know. Let me know what you guys do for it, because I'm always open to new suggestions. But yeah, I really wish my ostomy nurse had told me about this, because I remember asking her and she didn't really have any ideas for what to do about it. That's just the first thing. Today I don't really have very thick stools, so it's not going to be a great day to show this technique to you guys. But basically I've taken 2 little strips of toilet paper, and I don't even know if I'm going to need this much, but I'm going to take one of them, fold it over, place it in the toilet bowl on the water. I'm going to do the same with the other, and then when I go to empty my pouch, I'm going to pull it apart and put it right onto the toilet paper so that I don't have all of that splashback that tends to happen when you empty your bag without doing this. Okay, next on the list of things that my ostomy nurse never told me was how to defeat pancaking. So if you guys don't know what pancaking is, it's basically when the stool smushes up and doesn't fall down into the ostomy pouch like it should, just kind of like smushes up against the stoma and kind of clogs up the stomal area and creates what people call a pancake. This is common when I have thick stool, and it's more common in colostomates than ileostomates. So I don't have this problem as often as I assume a colostomate might, because their stool is just thicker. Since my stool is usually pretty watery, gravity does its thing, and I don't have too much pancaking, but on nights or days when I'm super thick for some reason, I've definitely struggled with pancaking. Pancaking was something that my ostomy nurse didn't do a great job of explaining to me, and she didn't have really good remedies for it either. She suggested trying to rinse out the pouch, which I've definitely done. I actually got a bidet just for that reason, and it did help, but in order to deal with pancaking throughout the day when I didn't have access to my toilet, like when I was at school or in class or at meetings, I couldn't go home and use the bidet every time time I had pancaking, right? So I decided to look online, of course, as you do, and I found out that a lot of people use lubricating deodorants or lubrication of some kind to help them deal with pancaking. This lubricating deodorant that I've talked about on my channel before, not only does it make your ostomy pouch content smell better, definitely helps with odor, but it also helps to just sort of line the walls of your pouch and make sure that there isn't as much opportunity for the stool to stick to it and become this poofy pancake problem. It'll also help with emptying your stool, especially if you're a colostomate, because thicker stool, as you guys know, is like kind of a pain in the front ass to get rid of. So it can be really nice to have something that's lubricating to help it just slide out of there very gracefully. So I recommend this to everyone who has never tried it. And I've also read that people use olive oil when they're out of lubricating deodorant if they can't get it. So I don't know, I've never tried that, but I assumed that it would work just fine. The very last thing that I want to tell you guys that I really wish my ostomy nurse had told me is how to slow down output before you're trying to change your appliance. So if you're an ostomy, you've probably had days where your output is more frequent than others. And on those days, it can be very difficult to make bag changes because, as you guys probably know, changing a bag requires very dry skin around the stoma. The peristomal skin has to be completely dry, and you don't really want to encounter this like dribbly stool coming out as you're trying to put on a bag. It's really best when the stool is totally slowed down or non-existent. So I asked my ostomy nurse how to get around this problem, and she said to just fast for a few hours before I tried to change my appliance. So plan out that, okay, Thursday I'm gonna change my bag, and on Thursday I'm not gonna eat for 3 or 4 hours before I change the bag. This worked definitely for sort of premeditated bag changes when I knew that on Thursday I was gonna change the bag. But on days where I blew out overnight, I didn't have the luxury of fasting for 3 or 4 hours to make sure that the ostomy didn't output when I didn't want it to, right? I looked online and I was like, other people definitely go through this. I'm sure I'm not the only person who has this problem. And I found out that a lot of people use the marshmallow technique, which is to eat a few marshmallows between an hour, half an hour before you make your bag change. And it'll serve to slow down your output and make it much, much easier to change your bag. I was a little skeptical of this at first. I was like, how does a marshmallow decrease your output? But I tried it, and lo and behold, it works great, almost without fail. Really only on very dumpy days that I have a serious problem with dumping does it not work. So I would say to you guys, if you haven't tried the marshmallow technique and you're still struggling with getting a bag on days where you're just outputting left, right, and center, then try the marshmallow technique. I think it works really, really well. And it's something that I don't think a lot of ostomy nurses tell you about, because that's something that people on these forums were saying too. They're like, wow, ostomy nurses should really put this in their textbooks because it works great. As a side note, I always keep like this secret stash of marshmallows in my bathroom. I've had people come into my bathroom and be like, why are there marshmallows here? And I'm like, it's a long story, don't worry about it. But yeah, so if you guys haven't tried it yet, I would definitely try the marshmallow technique. It can be very, very effective. I have all these different marshmallows by my parafilm, and I literally use them. I take them like half an hour before I'm trying to make a bag change. I have the toasted vanilla, which is really good, but it's kind of plain, you know. I love the strawberries and cream flavor. It's really good as well. Gluten-free, all that good stuff. And my favorite of all time, cookie dough. Although the churro flavor is pretty good, but I ran out. I can't recommend having some marshmallows around enough. All right, guys, well, that is it for my video today. I just want to wrap up by saying again, this is not at all a critique of my ostomy nurses. They've been great over the years, and I hope that you guys similarly have awesome ostomy nurses who are always there for you to answer questions. The best thing I can say is to try to find good resources, good communities, positive places that offer a lot of really helpful information that you may not have known about before. With all that being said, I hope you guys are staying happy, healthy, safe, and hydrated, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, Gut Squad!